Hi there guys, my name's Alex and we're going to be doing a bit of bushcraft in this woodland today here in the south undisclosed corner of the UK. We're in a beech wood at the moment and it's about 3.5 degrees Celsius. So shall we unpack the bag? So I've got a lightweight tarp that's pre-strung and it's in a dry bag, so if it's soaking wet I can put it straight in the dry bag and keep the rest of my bag dry. So we need to find 2 trees to string this with. Okay, here it is.
Why have you attached paracord?
So I've pre-strung this so that as soon as I take it out the bag I can just put it up, so I don't need to spend time putting the cord through it. So this is what's called the ridge line, so it's going to be the top roof line that's going to go between the 2 trees. So it's going to sit up like that.
Does it hang like a tent, like a
yeah.
kind of
A?
A?
So it's going to be like an A shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So you chose the trees now, right?
Yeah.
Well, what made you choose those? Which tree did you choose, first of all? And what made you choose those?
So I knew they wanted to be about 8 paces apart, just due to the length of line I've got and the width of the tarp. And I can tell just from doing it in previous experience that this is about 8 paces. And then you don't want a really fat, a large diameter tree because you're going to wind all your cord, use a lot of cord up going around that tree. And you don't want a super thin one. In fact, let's check this. So that's only just okay really. It's not ideal because it's going to bend when we put tension on it, but it's good enough just for today. So we're going to do a Siberian hitch. Do you want to practice your Siberian hitch?
What's that?
So it's a quick release knot just to quickly tie the tarp up here.
So I can remember it.
Yeah.
Right, so that's when my feet down low, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is the standing end, so it's the end that's going to the other tree, and this is the working end, so it's the loose end. So you're going to
put my hand through, make into a loop. Correct me if I'm doing anything wrong, yeah? And then put the working end through the loop?
No, pinch.
Pinch?
Yeah.
And pull?
Yeah.
That's
you pulled it all the way through.
Oh, that's right, I didn't I?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you want to pull
a
bite, which is a bend.
Yeah, I remember
through.
now. Hold on, can I save it?
Yeah. So you just want that tail hanging out.
That's it.
So it doesn't go all the way through. So that's your Siberian hitch. I'm just going to do that knot one more time, just to make sure it's all in the right place. So I'm going to come under, make a loop. I'm going to pinch the working end through that loop, but not all the way through because we want that tail hanging down. That's the quick release tail. And then just pull it tight. And then I'll get my toggle. Can you get me a toggle, please?
Yeah, where did it go? Yeah.
And put that through there. So that stick will then stop that from coming undone. We're going to do a completely different knot. So if you pass it round the tree, and then pull it. So you want to get the tension on it. So pull it all the way through, pull it all the way through. So you want this really as tight as you can get it.
Okay, I'm extremely feeble.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just that's perfectly tight enough. I'm just going to take it a bit higher.
Yeah.
Just so that we can, or maybe it's easier just to tie it.
Yeah, because I can't get that high.
Let's leave it there for tying it.
Okay.
Okay, then we're going to pull it, and what we want to do is come round and then under the rope and then back around.
So pass it over the top?
Yeah, so pull it a bit tighter first.
Can I pull it from this side? Yeah.
That's it, and then come under, pull all the slack through.
Woo! Bonus stick.
Bonus.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then back round.
Yeah, and that's applying all that tension there, which is really nice. So come all the way round. And then we're going to tie it off here using something similar to the Siberian hitch. So we're going to make a loop. And then pinch it, put a bend of the rope through that loop.
Yeah.
So it traps it, so it's like another quick release.
Okay.
So it's going to be like that.
Can I try it?
Yep.
So it goes over?
You're going to make a loop in this side.
Like that?
Yep. And then put a little bend of the rope through that loop.
Before I pass it over?
Over the top.
Oh. So I've got a loop in my left hand, and then I loop it there, and put it
through. It's difficult with gloves on.
That's it.
And then what, that comes
And then, yeah,
back?
just let go now and
Oh.
we can tension it. So you're going to pull that
Oh, I see.
there,
So
tighten it,
okay.
and that's it. Just make sure it's all snug. And then we'll
So then
toggle
if you
that.
wanted to, you could just tug on that side and it would come out
Yeah,
straight
it's
away.
a quick release. So we'll just put a stick into that quick release loop to stop it from coming undone.
If someone like me should fall over the string.
Let's stretch it out so we get some tension. So I've got these two, they're called prusik knots. So this is a knot that can slide easily, but when you put tension on it, it locks. Yeah,
Straight.
it's a circle, and then you just put it into itself once, and then into itself a second time. And that's the prusik knot. So I'm going to put the prusik knot through my loop on my tarp, and then put a stick through it to toggle it. So that's holding that tension that side. We'll do the same on the other side.
So does the knot bit go through the hole?
You can do it either way actually, but I prefer putting the knot through.
Yeah?
'Cause then it leaves.
So, okay, so then, and then again,
Yeah,
and then pull it.
yeah. And just make sure that these parts are parallel to each other.
So like
So you
little...
should have 4 lines like that.
Okay.
So then you're going to put this knot through this loop. So here I'm going to now create a tension. Oops.
Hurry!
Oh gosh.
Cool. Yeah, if you slide that prusik that way,
Yeah.
and this one's that way, so that's really tight now.
So is this the kind of thing that you can do on your own, or do you always
Yeah.
need 2 people?
No, you can
Yeah.
do it by yourself, for sure. Get some pegs, so yeah, let's try keeping it doubled up. And we'll just, so if you peg, maybe,
Do you go through that way?
yeah, if it reaches the ground.
Would we go on that side? So if the rain's kind of coming from there, we go that way?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This way? So sticky.
Just need some retension this top bit. It's really stony
Alex,
ground.
it's really stony.
Yeah. Just try, if it doesn't go in there, just try another location. Because we've got an adjustable loop here. And you want to have it pointing towards the tarp as well.
Oh, okay.
Make that a bit tighter.
Oh, you did?
Because normally I would have it higher and have like an A shape to it,
Yeah.
so you can properly get under it. If it's pissing down, you can at least sit
Better than nothing.
Right.
there, and there is a tarp there as well.
Yeah, here's the one we made earlier.
Yeah.
If you're in the position of needing to make a fire when it's already raining, how do you collect firewood?
So you collect it like you normally would, so you would get what's called dead standing wood, so dead meaning there's no green leaves on it, it's dry, it cracks when you snap it, and it's up off the ground, so hanging in trees or leaning up.
And it doesn't matter if it's wet.
It doesn't matter if it's wet because you can split it and the middle is going to be dry. So they've been sitting here for a couple of years now, so they are dried, kind of almost too dry, because when we split them they're going to be really hard to split with the axe, but we'll see what we can do with them.
So even though they've been sitting out here in the open,
Yeah.
they'll still be good to
Yeah,
burn?
yeah, the middle will be dry. Ideally we don't want little knots in them. That's not too bad, but that will prevent us from splitting them down. So you want sort of as smooth, straight bits as you can find. That looks perfect.
This one?
Yeah.
So how do you identify a knot? Because there's bumps and things.
It's where a branch would have been coming out, so
Is that one?
that's a knot there, but it's not
Okay.
too big. So there would have been a branch there, but if you look on the top, sometimes you can even see the knot. So it'll be a different grain circle,
So, but that one looks okay.
which isn't there, so it looks kind of okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that too small?
No, that's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, we can. So this is just a foam mat. So anything where you need to sit down, kneel down, it's just going to make it more comfortable, insulate you from the ground. I'm going to kneel to chop because I've got a short axe. So the longer your axe, the safer it is, because it's going to bury itself in the ground, whereas this length is going to bury itself in your leg.
Oh. So that's why you shorten your height?
Yeah, that's why I'm kneeling. And I'm going to put the log to be split at the back of this work surface. If it's at the front and I miss, then I'm going to come either into the ground, which will damage my axe, or into me. But if it's at the back and I miss, I'm just going to hit the wood.
Do you have to aim for the centre of the log, or can you start just anywhere?
Aim for the centre. If there are any knots, you want to go straight through the knot. Which...
So if there's a knot, aim for the knot?
Yeah. You want to split directly down through the knot.
Okay.
Rather than to the side, the knot will just, it will get stuck. These are quite hard to split because they're really old and gnarly. But what we're going to do is kind of aim with fully extended arms for the middle. I'm not going to actually do it now. So you're going to come back over your head and then sharply bring it down. Always be aware of where the follow through is. So obviously it's following through in this direction. So you want to be outreached. You don't want to be kind of close like this, because you're right in the follow through.
Right.
So you want to be kind of as far away as you can possibly be, and then come down sharply into the middle.
Okay.
And have a go.
I am not expecting to be very accurate. I feel like it would be easier standing if you have a long axe.
If you had a long axe and a bigger bit of wood, you would stand. We're going to clear the back and front of you just in case. You know, it's wet, the axe might slip out your hands.
Yeah.
So we
or
just
if I throw it behind myself.
Yeah, if you throw it over your head, so
Should
we don't.
I take my gloves off?
Yeah, take your gloves off. It might not split. That's fine. It's really.
I doubt it will, because
It's really
I'm
tough.
not very strong.
Really tough wood. So that looks good. So firm grip on the axe. Just bring it over your head and then straight down.
So like that.
Yep. Yep. A lot harder.
A lot harder.
Yep.
I'm scared.
Yay! So
A tiny wafer of wood.
we can use that on the fire.
Okay.
So that's, and a good way, Emily won't like this, a good way to test if it's damp is to put it on your lips.
Like
So you
laundry.
Exactly like laundry. I'll go that way. So normally if that was fresh wood, that would have split in half now. It's just so tough. What I'm going to do to release the axe is just flip it over.
Ah, good trick.
So it's kind of rotten, so the black is like rot, that's all spongy and wet. Not very good wood.
Will that light?
It won't light, but it will, once we put it on our fire, it will burn.
Okay. Oh, make it so easy now.
Yeah, that's a good trick, flipping it
Yeah.
over.
That's good because it's upstanding.
Yeah, it's dead and it's standing or leaning. The more vertical the angle, the more the rain's going to run off. So rather than break it up here, you'd always carry it whole back to camp, otherwise you end up with a massive armful of sticks rather than one thing. So I mean, you've even got stuff like that, you see it's just hanging there.
Yeah.
So that's silver birch, so it's going to have resin in it, so it'll go up, it'll really light really easily.
Okay.
So we definitely want to keep stuff like that.
Even though it's quite skinny.
Yeah, because the skinnier the better to start your fire.
Okay.
So you want to start with matchstick thin and then pencil thin and then maybe move up to finger or wrist thick. So all this stuff here is just hanging here. So yeah, have a scout around, see what you can get.
We've got layers of them, look. There's another one there.
Quite a bit hung up in the trees here. And this woodland is cleaned because there's people who camp here, so if you were in a wild wood in the middle of nowhere, you'd probably have a lot more sticks to gather than this.
That's probably a better technique for carrying it.
Of course, if you've got quite thick stuff, best way to break it is if you get two trees that are close together, or a tree with a V in the trunk.
I don't know how you make a big drum.
So if you trap it in between the two trunks, you get quite a lot of leverage there, so you can then just walk it back, in here. It's just a lot less clumsy than trying to stamp on it all.
How short are you trying to make them?
Maybe about a foot,
Okay.
roughly. If they're too long, say if you've got a small fire that's burning from here or from here to here, the bits at the ends won't burn, they'll just drop off and you'll end up with all these bits.
So it's to not waste wood, basically.
So you want it about the size of the fire you're going to have.
Okay.
So if you're going to have a fire that long or that wide, if you're just cooking a pot of water, then you'd have it half that size. So we want 3 piles, so we want the thinnest possible twigs that we can find, and then something medium sized like a pencil, and then that, like anything big like that's going to be big.
So is that the thinnest, or is that the pencil size?
That would be the medium.
So that's kind of group 2.
Yeah, to start a fire, especially in cold damp weather, you need real thin like
So
that.
is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one?
Yeah, so real thin twigs like that, and then we'll move on to like pencils, and then we'll do finger to wrist. So the rule is, if you're making a fire for the whole night, you would get the pile of wood you think you're going to need, and then you get 5 times more because you burn through it. Good. Yeah, let's put that on the pile. But for today, we just want to light it really. So this is silver birch bark that I've collected in the woods around here. There's 2 different types. There's the paper bark birch, which is very thin, quite nice. You can just crunch it up and light it like that. And then there's the ordinary thicker stuff, which is in here somewhere, or like that, which is quite a lot stiffer. But both of them are packed with resin, so they have kind of oils in them that once you light them, they're going to burn quite brightly and stay alight. So these are all really wet, and some of them are too thick, so it's going to be hard to light. But we'll do our best. So you want to make sure that they're quite packed together, because if you hold it over like that, they're not going to catch each other alight, they're just going to light individually. So we're going to make a bundle. Take the slightly thicker ones out.
So if you were doing a wild camp for real tonight, would you not use those? Would you go and try and get some other ones?
I'd use these, but I'd get more. I'd have double the amount, just to guarantee the fire. But we've got loads of birch bark, so that's not a problem for us.
Okay.
If you didn't have much birch bark, you'd want to make feather sticks, which is where you're shaving wood down into thin feathers. But again, that takes time.
Okay.
These are fire steels, or ferro rods, or ferrocerium rods. So they're a modern invention. Essentially, when you strike it, they're going to produce a shower of sparks. About 3,000 degrees hot, so really hot, bright sparks. It's not a flint and steel, that's completely different. So flint is just a bit of rock, and a steel is just a bit of carbon steel, whereas this is a blend of different metals that's gonna spark quite hot. All 3 of these are made by Light My Fire, Swedish company, and they're very good. So I've got a Scout, an Army, and then a slightly different version of the Army. So we can have a go each. It's got indents that your thumbs go in on both the striker and the steel, and that's purely because the striker has a bit of a lip on one side. If you feel it, you'll feel...
This is the striker?
Yeah, that's the striker, and you should feel an edge, a bit of a lip.
Oh yeah.
And that's the bit that's scraping off parts of the ferro rod, and the parts that are being scraped off are what are generating the heat.
Okay.
So if you did it upside down by mistake, it wouldn't work, just because there's no...
it's just smooth.
It's smooth, there's no edge.
So that's like a little bit that is catching on this and scraping it down.
Yeah.
So I presume it doesn't matter that I'm left-handed, you can use it any way
That's
you
right.
want?
Yeah, left or right-handed.
Okay.
And it's not about speed, so that's not a very good technique. What you want to do is go from top all the way to the bottom, applying pressure, like that.
Okay.
You're going to get...
So are your little edges, you were saying they're all the way around, so I can do it sideways like that, or I can do it length on, like, is there a better way, or is it just preference?
It's just preference.
Okay.
Yeah, I would find it a bit awkward to do it with the top side. I think it's easier with the side.
Okay.
Actually just kind of get it up into a papery bundle, and like that. This thick stuff, if you get the thick stuff, you can use your scraper or a knife to get some dust. So you want to get some dust like that, quite a lot. The more you have, the more easy it is to light. So you want to get quite a pile, at least 4 times that amount of dust.
And you keep it on the bark?
Keep it on the bark, yeah. But essentially all we're going to do is strike the sparks into this.
So you're kind of pushing them down into the...
Yeah. And I haven't really... You can go multiple times like this. That's it. And then I would transfer this into the fireplace.
Oh, that's nice and warm, obviously.
Now, because everything's...
You just picked up fire with your hands.
I used a bit of bark, but because everything is damp, I'm going to put a lot of birch bark on to give us the best chances. And I'm going to hold this over it, so I'm not going to put it on it, I'm just going to hold it over it.
You're kind of toasting it.
Yeah, you don't want to smother.
No, you can marshmallow, exactly.
Yeah, move that out of the way, please, thank you.
I'll pop this on as well then, Alex. Can you do it all?
No, because we can all practice.
Oh, okay.
Can I do my classroom?
You want to put your gloves back on? Oh, yeah, yeah. What did you say? I said yes, I don't know why I said yes to it.
So you can see all the steam coming out, that's how damp it is.
So are you still, you're kind of still propping up the little...
Yeah, I'm propping it up so it doesn't squash the birch bark,
Okay.
thus depriving it of oxygen. So I want to keep the oxygen going in there. Now it's so
Oh,
hot.
I can hear it whistling.
It's so hot that it's going to light these slightly thicker bits because I've put so much birch bark on initially.
So how long will you hold the sticks up for? Are you just trying to dry them out a bit?
Yeah.
So you're letting some of the steam out?
So I'm going to initially go for more of a teepee configuration.
Is that why
Your,
drawings of
fire
fires are always like sticks propped up against each other? Is it kind of to let the oxygen in underneath?
Yeah, initially, and then after it's properly
Just turn
caught,
back a bit better.
I'm going
It's licking out a
to
bit.
save that bit so you can practice on it. After it's caught, I would always use a parallel stick configuration, so all the sticks are just lined up next to each other.
Okay.
But to let them catch, you really want... See, all the small sticks are virtually gone now, so we should have had 3 times the amount, because this fire's in danger of going out.
So how do you save it if it...
We should have done more prep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a way to salvage it at this point, or is it a case of the foundations are wrong?
Foundations. We might be okay, but if I was doing this for real, I would have spent twice as long on prep.
Okay.
I would have carved a couple of feather sticks as well. So you probably want more surface area.
More.
So like rough this up a bit more, so you can even scrape it with your striker.
Okay, go on. Show me.
So you can kind of do
Oh,
this.
that's where you got the dust.
Yeah, this is paper bark, so it won't be dust, but it'll be like ripped bits of paper. So you can see how that's more.
Yeah.
You can just pinch it up and screw it up, and that's more likely to light now.
Okay.
So if you do it into that sort of pile, pin
Okay.
down that pile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Right. So it's not that speed, is it?
yeah, press a bit harder. That's it.
Oh.
Do it multiple times.
Am I doing it wrong?
No. It's just perseverance. Sometimes.
I remember when you showed me this once before, and you can kind of like pin. Will you show me to pin the
Yeah.
little flakes with the?
Yeah.
What's this bit
Gosh.
called?
The ferro rod.
The ferro rod.
Yeah, so you can trap them all underneath it. Also the angle of your rod, so your sparks are shooting off kind of here.
Yeah.
So maybe if you have it slightly more upright, they'll go down into it.
Right, okay. Try that.
And then do 3 or 4 hard strikes. That's close. Yeah, keep
Ooh,
going.
I saw it
Keep
almost
going.
go then.
Yeah, going down actually made a difference.
Maybe make it even more vertical.
Yeah. Okay guys, that's all we've got time for today. We're going to go back and get some hot chocolate. Hope to see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.